Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
I'm Kristen.
And Kristen has joined us this week because she brought us the beers.
I did.
I'm excited. You've never been, Brian, you've never been to this brewery.
Not to this brewery, no.
No. So this week we're doing two different beers. We're taking a break from our holiday beers, and we're going to do two beers from Crow Peak Brewing in Spearfish, South Dakota.
That's right.
Spearfish, South Dakota. So
Yes.
Give me an idea of where Spearfish is in regards to like other places in South Dakota.
Okay, well, I live in Rapid City, South Dakota, which is kind of the largest, it's kind of a centralized location in the Black Hills. And Spearfish is about an hour away, up by, not too far from like Deadwood, Lead. People are kind of familiar with those areas. So, beautiful area up there. Yeah, about an hour away.
About an hour away? Okay. How far from the Grand Canyon? Grand Canyon. How far from the Grand Canyon?
Pretty far,
Far,
Rich.
very far.
Pretty far, yeah.
So you would think I would have already started drinking. From the Big Heads, from Mount Rushmore.
Oh, gosh. If you take a roundabout way, it's probably, I don't know, about 30 minutes or so.
And that's a roundabout way?
30, yeah, because they all surround kind of Rapid City. So you're, about 30, 40 minutes.
Okay. So the two beers that we're going to try this week are two that are not my favorite, but
Style-wise.
But we're going to try them anyway. The first one, which one do you want to do first, Brian?
I think we should do the cream ale first.
Let the porter
agree.
Yeah, we can let that
warm
one
up a
out
little bit.
yeah.
Okay, so the first one is called Canyon Cream Ale, alcohol by volume 5%, brewed with local honey. Oh, all right.
Probably named after the Spearfish Canyon, right?
I would assume so.
Boom. 1 for 1. I did some Spearfish fact digging on the
Okay.
Let's see what
on
you
the back
know.
end here, so I'll say it, and if it's true,
We'll find out.
yeah, exactly.
All right. So it's definitely a lighter color.
Definitely.
Very light.
I didn't know what to expect.
Almost looks like champagne, all those bubbles.
A little bit.
You could have kept mine small, that's all right.
No? Okay.
No,
Brian's
I'm excited to
anticipating
this
the other.
one because I've really, like I was kind of telling you yesterday, Rich, this is a style I've almost always stayed away from because I associated it with like sweet, like cream soda. So in my mind, that's what I thought I was having until I found out that Spotted Cow is technically a cream ale. And then I was like, whoa, well, I like that. So,
You told me that yesterday, and I just have a hard time believing that.
I mean, it's on the internet, so it's got to be true.
It's got to be true. So, okay, let's give this one a shot. Canyon Cream Ale from Crow Peak Brewing, Spearfish, South Dakota.
It does have some sweetness. Rich is going to say, you know what? That's not bad.
You know what? That's not bad.
That's his tagline. We should get T-shirts made with that.
It's not sweet, though, like you would
It's
assume
not.
with the color.
Right.
Yeah.
Do I really say that a lot?
Yeah, almost every beer.
Look at Dolan shaking his head. Dolan, you want to finish this off here? Or is that? Yeah, probably.
It smells good. It definitely. I like the bubbles. It's the most clear beer we've done on this whole series of the show.
Absolutely. There's
For
no
sure.
there's no floaties in this at all.
No, that's good.
Uh-uh.
In this style.
So okay, so let's talk about the brewery first, because
Okay.
Kristen, you've been there a
I
few
have.
times.
Yep.
Let's talk about the brewery first, and then I'm interested to hear, Brian, what you have to say about some
Okay.
knowledge on cream ale.
Yeah, sounds good.
So tell us about the brewery.
So Spearfish, first of all, is just this beautiful college town. It's just kind of an eclectic place. My husband actually graduated from college there at Black Hills State, and
What's the
that's a real
mascot
college.
there?
I don't know what the mascot is.
Fighting Bisons.
That's North Dakota.
Maybe,
Oh,
maybe.
okay.
No,
Okay, sorry.
we have lots of buffalo
There
in
you
South
go.
Dakota. Yep, Custer State Park.
Beautiful
yes.
state park, by the way.
What was the
is-
name
it
of
is
the college
beautiful.
again? I'm gonna look it up.
Black Hills State.
Black.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
So a beautiful, beautiful town, and very scenic. You're at a higher elevation out there in that western South Dakota area, especially out there in the upper hills, the northern hills. And the brewery itself, now they sell their beer regionally, so you can get it anywhere in Rapid City or the surrounding areas, and I think you can get it as far southeast as Sioux Falls. I think they quit selling it in Nebraska, but the brewery itself is like a 2-story kind of lodge looking, structure, which is, kind of typical for that area. And it's just kind of a very laid back, very, very laid back vibe, which is actually characteristic of all the breweries and wineries in that part of the area. It's kind of a, there's a lot of skiing, snowboarding, that kind of, we're kind of like a miniature Denver. And so there's kind of that vibe that kind of permeates.
Why isn't Chris Madrigal in here with us then?
He's talking about coming out in February.
Sure.
He wants to do some boarding. Yeah.
Black Hills State Yellow Jackets.
Oh, yes. I knew that.
Cool. The Yellow Jackets. Home of the Fighting Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
So Rich is going to want to know, what's the food sitch at this brewery?
Exactly.
Can you eat there?
I have never eaten food there.
But they have food.
I don't know if they do. I've never eaten food there.
I didn't see anything on their website when I did my research as to food, but their website was pretty limited.
Okay.
So
yeah, they're it's a simplistic, I think, kind of vibe. Their brewery itself is really cool, very rustic, but extremely just simple. It's all about the beer.
So what I heard was, between them and Fernson Brewing in South Dakota, they've like flip-flopped back and forth between who's the biggest brewery.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I heard these guys are going to be now the biggest brewery again because they're doing some sort of expansion, or they're working on making more beer. So as of this summer, that's what I heard. It was Fernson was first, but now these guys will be the biggest brewery in South Dakota.
interesting. So
very possible.
Crow Peak was just named by Thrillist magazine the best microbrew in South Dakota.
Oh, and that's the one that had cross-train?
And that's the one that had cross-train for Nebraska. And my friends down at Free State in Lawrence for Kansas. And I can't argue with that.
3
I have not
straights
had
right in a
that.
row.
Right.
Nice.
Free State is that was my first introduction to craft beer. And 91 maybe? I was shocked when we walked in. I just thought it was another bar. And they had the big copper kettles right up front. And
That's cool.
yeah, it's really cool. So anyway, so I would not have ordered a cream ale.
Yeah.
Like if we had gone to the brewery, I would not have ordered this, but I will now.
Yeah.
Different, like light. Even at 5%, it's light.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no hop flavor to it, which is okay.
Yeah, what is the IBUs on this?
I
Does it
do
even
taste the
say?
honey, though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
I think
But
the
it's not
IBUs on this,
overpowering.
they're probably around 20 or so, Rich, would be my guess.
Would you guess?
Yeah.
All right. So tell me about cream ales. What'd you do on this
So
one?
what I found out mostly about this is it's a style that's really home in the northern and the northeastern parts of the United States, mostly because of temperature. Because it's brewed, but then it's stored in a colder environment. So once it's done, it's put in the cold. And so 100 years ago, 150 years ago, when people were making these, they could literally dig a hole in the snow and put it out there. That sort of stuff to store it. So usually you're going to find these in that section of the United States, Northeast, and then in the central, where we're at. But you're not going to find them in Georgia or Texas is not brewing this style of beer.
Okay.
These are what's called a present use beer, which means it ain't supposed to sit around. You're not supposed to store this and keep it for 2 years and see what happens. You want to get this and drink it as soon as possible.
It doesn't age.
Yeah, it probably doesn't age, and it's not supposed to.
Ah,
So kind of like your IPAs, certain kinds of pastry stouts you don't want to let sit around because the flavors will just kind of melt away over time. This is another one of those styles of beer. It's basically like brewing a Kolsch.
Okay.
The only thing that's different is they add in usually some either corn, probably around here, or rice. And that's really the main difference between a Kolsch and a cream ale, just to give it a little more sugar. And then with this one, has added the honey. The first one that I could find back in the United States, and you might have seen this one. I don't think it comes here, but if you've traveled anywhere northeast, you'll see Genesee cream ale. It's like a green bottle, white label. And then they make some, in Wisconsin, Spotted Cow. We talked about that. And if you go by the definitions, they said that Old Style and your favorite, Natty Ice,
Oh, gosh.
Olympia, and Rainier, those are all considered to be cream ales just for the style that they are.
Wait a minute. Old Style?
Yeah.
Like the official beer of the Chicago Cubs, Old
yeah.
Style.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
What?
So you've been drinking cream ales.
I guess.
They just haven't been calling them that.
Weird. Again, I would have just called that a lager.
And that's basically what it is. I mean, it's stored the same way as a lager, so it's very similar to that. The only difference is the little bit of added corn or rice or whatever.
So for you lager fans out there, this isn't a leap.
No, if that's what you drink, like if you're a Budweiser person and you roll into this brewery, then you could drink this and you'll feel just fine at home.
Yeah. It's almost a Coors Light kind of... Well, it's almost a Coors Heavy, like the stubby bottle kind of maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I would say something like that.
Okay.
And then the last thing I had about this was, let's see, Genesee was made 1960. And then the first one that I could find record of in the United States was something called Kruger's Cream Ale, 1935. And it was by the Gottfried Brewery in Richmond, Virginia. It was the first canned beer in America. It was a cream ale in 1935.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I would think it'd be something like PBR or something. That'd be the first canned
Yeah, I don't know. I should next time I'll look up the history of canned beer, like
canned
how long.
beer. Yeah.
Pop top, the.
If we ever do PBR, when PBR finally dies, when Coors lets it die,
Yeah.
then we need to do PBR on one of these. Just
Well, we
as-
need to go and buy like 30 cases of it just to have it, and then we can do it.
You want?
Do you like PBR?
I've never had it.
Oh my goodness,
I know.
Wow.
Right?
Really?
Dolan, you can't go to a rock show without a PBR in your hand, right? They won't let you in. You got to bring your own sometimes, even.
Yeah. No, I've never had a PBR ever. No.
I like it.
I'll drink it.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I don't mind it at all.
Okay. All right.
And I don't-
hams. I've had hams.
I don't
Hams is
like
good.
ham. Yes, I don't
Schmitz.
care
I've
for
had
hams.
that before. Yeah, but never a PBR.
All right, we'll work on that.
Okay. All right. So, Kristen, I think you changed my mind on this one. I was
Yay.
I was not looking forward to this at all, and now I like
You
it.
kind of enjoyed it?
I do.
It's easy to drink.
You notice I drank Dolan's portion. I
Whoops.
there. So
Dolan, you want to try it?
apologize, Dolan. So.
All right.
All right, there we go. Finished it off. Okay, next one. Oh boy, Pile of Dirt Porter. As if I didn't want to drink a porter enough, they gave
name,
it the
huh?
name Pile of Dirt.
Yeah.
And it's like pile o dirt.
Pile
Yeah.
o Dirt.
Yeah.
Do you have any background on the name whatsoever?
I don't. I think, they just kind of, like with the Canyon Cream Ale, like Spearfish Canyon.
Holy smokes! Look at that.
Oh, look how dark that is. Oh man.
It's beautiful.
I don't look. It's all over. It got all over my hands.
Oh my gosh.
What's happening here?
Good thing this is
Here.
radio.
And a
Good
towel.
thing. Do we have a towel? That's
It's
your
our counterweight.
That's
Don't
your
take
counterweight.
that.
Don't take that down.
I
You're
can't take
you're.
We'll get the cleanup crew
Rich
in
is
here
making a
later.
mess.
Yeah. I'm making a mess. Okay. Give me some background on what'd you do on porters here?
So here's what I got for porter. It's supposed to be earthy, right?
Oh, no.
That's one of the main characteristics. So that's probably maybe
Hence
that
the
could be
name.
the name.
Thus the dirt name.
It'll have a chocolatey espresso flavor and color. I mean, that's what we're doing. So that's what it looks like. These were really popular in the 1700s. This was George Washington's favorite style of beer.
Porters?
That's
yeah,
cool.
porters. They were named after basically the people that would carry goods around London. So like your UPS driver from the 1700s, he was called a porter.
Wow.
And they would work pretty hard all day long. And when they would get done with work, this was the beer that they liked.
Okay.
So that's where the term porter comes from.
Again, weird. I would want something lighter probably after I get done working.
Well, that was 250 years, 100 years ago or something. So
I guess.
it's a little different, I guess.
They
I
didn't
don't
have
know.
Keystone Light
They
back
didn't
in
have
the day?
IPAs, or
No.
they weren't making pale ales yet. But
No.
I did read that it was so popular, the biggest batches in London, this was cool. I wish I could have found a picture of this, but the barrel that they used to store it in was so big that before they set it up to put the liquid in, they had it laying on its side, and 200 people ate lunch in it. Like it set up tables and stuff, and 200 people could fit in the barrel.
What?
That's how much beer, this style of beer, what they were making. And then this is what eventually turned into those, imperial stouts that we talked about, Russian stouts, and they just they brewed them a little stronger, add a little more extra stuff. But this is like the base of the stouts.
Interesting. Okay. So, oh boy, it
Let's do it,
smells. It smells. Oh boy. Okay.
Are you nervous?
Kind of.
It'll be all right. That tastes like a porter.
So, give me some flavor characteristics between porters and stouts. Then, like, what am I looking for
I mean, it says earthy, and that's what it tastes like to me.
Yes,
It tastes dry, if that makes sense.
it does.
Let's get another one.
It smells like dirt. No offense. No offense,
That's
fellas.
what it's called.
Which is
right?
why it's what it's called, right?
That's just that style. That's the roasted malts that you're smelling and seeing. That's why that color is what it is.
It kind of has a sweet finish, though,
It does. That
I
maybe
wonder what-
saves it for me a little
which
bit.
I like about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says you're supposed to pair it, or you can pair it with any sort of barbecue. Goes good with like sweet barbecue sauce or anything like that. Asiago cheese and vanilla ice cream. So they suggest like a vanilla root beer float, but with porter. Supposed to be pretty good.
That now Seitner would tell us that there was one. Gosh, I can't remember where it was. They are making root beer floats, vanilla like floats with whatever porter. Somewhere in the Northeast. I can't remember where.
That
it was.
sounds all right. I would try that for sure. The first post-prohibition beer was Anchor Brewing, and that was a porter.
It was a porter
in San Francisco.
Well, you got to go hard after Prohibition, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
because
it's-
no one drank during Prohibition,
No.
so they had to have
It
had a
didn't-
good time on that first
didn't
day.
happen at all. Yep. If you listened to last week's episode, we talked about that a little bit, right?
Was,
That's-
yeah, not true.
yeah. Wink, wink. We brewed.
Definitely in Texas they were doing that.
Yes. Well, it's Texas. They do whatever they want there anyway.
Outlaws.
I love it.
So let me hit you with the Spearfish knowledge that I've got, and we'll see if we can.
Excellent.
We'll stump the local. Some of this was
gosh.
really cool. I thought some of this was really neat, and I've been there, and it is totally beautiful. Like
Yeah.
if you've not been there, go to Spearfish. So like the waterfall. What's the name of that? Just Spearfish Canyon Waterfall or something?
Well, yeah, just the Spearfish Canyon in the fall is when a lot of people go
Gorgeous.
there to see the foliage. Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh yeah. First thing I want. This was crazy. I had to write the numbers down because it makes. I don't understand the science behind this, and maybe Dolan can tell me later with his physics that he was
Maybe.
talking about earlier. The world record for the biggest temperature change ever
Okay.
happened there.
And Spearfish?
Yeah, January 22nd, 1943.
Okay.
7:30 a.m. This is in Mountain Standard Time, Dolan. -4 degrees. -4, right? At 7:32, 2 minutes later, 45 degrees Fahrenheit.
What?
Went up. Well, how many is that, Dolan? I gotta count. Let's see here.
Got a
That's
calculator?
That's 49 degrees. By 9 o'clock, it was 54. At 9:27, the winds changed directions again. So 27 minutes later, it was back to -4 degrees. And the change was so huge that it just blew out store windows and house windows and windshields. Everything just like shattered in the town.
That's
It's so cold.
That sounds like aliens.
I don't know, man, but that's the documented biggest temperature change. So I thought that was crazy.
That sounds like aliens visited.
Speaking of visiting aliens, not quite aliens, but there's this thing called the Ezra Kind Party.
Okay.
So what that was when the gold rush was happening in the Black Hills, these people allegedly found this, not an anecdote, but just like the story of this mining party that went here to find gold. And they found a lot of gold, allegedly, and they carved it into the sandstone, and they're basically saying, like, we have all this gold, but there's Native Americans after us, and we can't get away, and this is our story account of whatever. So it was like carved in this big rock sandstone thing, and it was called the Ezra Kind Party.
Okay.
So nobody knows if it was real or not, but people kind of feel like it probably wasn't. Cause
And
it
they
was gonna take
disappeared?
the time.
Like they disappeared or whatever?
So it was either a 1830s prank or something happened. We don't know. But
Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Really?
This is new to me.
so that was cool. The other thing, I had one other thing that I thought was kind of interesting. Let's see. Oh, the gold rush was just 1876, so that's what brought a lot of people there. So I don't know if it was before the California gold rush or around that same time, but there was one big, like, strike, and that 3 different groups owned the rights to it, and that's really what brought people
Yep.
to Spearfish.
Interesting.
So that's what I got.
All right. That temperature thing's crazy.
Right?
That's
Did they have a
crazy.
name for it? Did they call it like sometimes because in the northern hills especially, there's if it gets to be like a higher temperature than like in Rapid City, which is a lower elevation, which is unusual because usually higher elevation lower temperature. And they call that an inversion. So it's rare, but sometimes it will be like 60 degrees in the northern hills and like, 30 or 40 degrees
Could be.
in Rapid City.
They attributed this to Chinook winds is what happened. So that coming out of Canada, I assume, changed directions, and in 2 minutes it changed almost
Wow.
50 degrees.
Wow. Any Chinook? Any Bigfoot sightings up in South Dakota? Do you get that at all? No. Yeti, Bigfoot, skunk,
No.
ape, anything like that? No.
No.
Up in the mountains.
I wish.
Not that
Every
I've seen.
mountain area has some sort of like Yeti, Bigfoot,
Creature thing, yeah.
story or something.
We see a lot of bighorn sheep.
Okay.
That's close.
Yeah.
Stack
Mountain
3 or 4 of
goats.
them on each other. You
Yep.
might see it's a Bigfoot.
Yep.
My friend who was going on a hike just the other day ran into a bighorn sheep and, was a little nervous because they can charge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, she stopped and the bighorn sheep ran the other way.
Bears? Do you have any bears?
So that's interesting. We didn't for a long time, and there have been several bear sightings within the last 5 years. Black bear
Interesting.
Where are
in
they
the
coming
Black
from?
Hills. Well, I assume they're coming from Montana.
Yeah.
But
That's scary that bears just show up.
They show up. Like you're not
Like,
expecting.
we
Yeah.
didn't have them
Whoa.
5 years. Now we got bears.
Yep.
That's like the mountain lions around
Yeah.
here.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got to tell you, you know what's coming here.
it's growing on
Yeah.
you.
I don't mind it.
Yeah. So
I kind of like it.
I think these are pretty good. As far as a style goes, porters are really gateways to stouts for me. So this is an area that I'd never order a porter, like ever.
Yep.
But this one's pretty good. I mean, it tastes like a great example of what the style is supposed to be.
Again, 6% volume by alcohol, or 6% alcohol by volume.
A little bit stronger.
A
That's
little bit
good.
stronger. Peace, love, funk. It's like Chris Madrigal's.
Yeah, he would like that.
Yeah, that's his.
It's kind of. I like their logo and their can designs are cool. When you see them on the
Yeah.
shelf, or at least when you used to hear, you knew it was theirs right away.
Yep. What was the other? Fernstein, as you said? Is that the other one?
Fernson is another
Fernson?
one. Yeah,
Fernson.
Fernson.
And I think we can still get that here.
That one we can get. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, I haven't really spent a whole lot of time with that one, so.
They make. They have a New England style IPA that they just put out. It's pretty good, and they have like a sour in a can that's pretty good, and
Yep.
they make a pretty wide array that we get here. I'm sure there's more up there that we don't, but
Awesome.
around here it's pretty good.
So, just real quick on the brewery itself, if you happen to find yourself in Spearfish, brewery's open Monday through Thursday, noon to 10, Friday and Saturday, noon to midnight, and Sunday, 11 to 9. Like you said, just located right outside of Deadwood and Sturgis, right in between, kind of.
Yeah.
ish.
Yep.
Right around in there. And as far as I can tell, they have around 12 different beers on tap right now, including the one you couldn't bring to me that I was really excited for.
What's that?
The Frankie McDonald lager. I think it was the
Yeah,
Frankie
it was a
McDonald
lager.
lager. Frankie McDonald, the weather guy. That guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I love that guy. I think that guy, weather's coming if Frankie McDonald's talking about it.
Just got an alert for Nebraska. It's going to be bad.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they brewed a Frankie McDonald lager, I believe. So
I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's really cool. If you find that, please.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they're like mass producing it. I think it's just within the brewery itself, probably
Tap
just a
room
seasonal.
only. Get
yeah.
up there, Rich. and Get you a little crowler of it.
Only someday could I aspire to having a beer named after me. Then you've made it.
Oh, for sure.
Where's he from?
I want to say Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah,
That's
somewhere up
right.
there.
Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure.
I think that's right. So, if you haven't look up Frankie McDonald. He is very entertaining. Very, very entertaining.
Yeah, and he has his own bobblehead and action figure.
What?
Yes,
Oh.
I'll buy you
you're
one for
just-
Christmas.
yeah.
eBay. All right, that's the end of this episode. I'm going to go to eBay and find
Get all the Frankie merch you can find.
all the Frankie merch I can find. So,
Thanks for these beers.
yeah, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
For bringing these to us and being on the show with us today. So,
Absolutely, my
how-
pleasure.
Again, how far do you live from Spearfish?
Oh, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Not far.
So, if you're there, and if you want someone to give you a guided tour, Yeah.
myself.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I have several nurses working at Rapid City Regional. And a lot of the nurses there explore and go outside of Rapid City and explore the hills. And that's what it's all about. There's a lot of breweries and wineries all throughout the region. And just the scenery itself is worth, getting in your car and taking off. So that's the fun part about it. So I've been able to connect with nurses that way. And
Awesome.
it's a blast. So fun.
It's a great place to visit. Oh man.
Brian knows.
I've been there. I've been there a few times. Went to Bear Country, USA.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, you asked about bears. There's bears there.
There's bears there, but
Yeah.
they're in like cages and stuff.
Yes.
And then you drive through and stuff like that. What's the Reptile Gardens?
Yep.
That's kind of a fun place or whatever. Right outside of Mount Rushmore, there's some alpine slides,
Yes.
which are a blast.
in Keystone. That's Keystone, South Dakota.
Is that the name? Okay.
Yep.
There's a train that runs.
Oh,
the
dude, that thing's
1880
great.
train.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
That's
beautiful.
Yeah.
My kids get to do that for field trips. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
So you can take it and it goes from Hill City to Keystone and back, or vice versa.
And there's
Yep.
like a little ice cream shop at one of the towns
Yeah.
that you stop at. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's so great.
Yep.
It's
Probably-
our area is very tourist driven. It's just a beautiful area. So a lot of people come there for. Gosh, we see millions of people,
How
especially
cold?
and then with the Sturgis rally.
Like
What?
how cold will it be like right in the wintertime up there?
Temperatures can be a little bit milder than like here in Nebraska.
Sign me up.
It's because it's further west.
Yeah, I
you know,
guess that's
so you're drier. We don't have the humidity that Omaha and Lincoln have.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
It is really nice. So like we'll have hot days but no humidity and really cool nights in the summer. It's beautiful.
Good for fire pits, Rich.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
What are we
Yeah.
doing here?
Get a couple PBRs.
Come visit me.
Crow Peak, Canyon Cream.
Yep.
and-
We'll
Get
go
some
drink
of
beer.
those.
Yeah. And go visit. So.
Yeah.
All right. Next week we are back on with our holiday beers. So if you find a beer that you like, or if there's one that you miss, and we'll try to get it.
Yeah.
Brian's very resourceful.
I got connections.
Absolutely. Let us know. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow either through wherever you consume podcasts, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever that might be at. Make sure you follow on there. Is it follow?
Subscribe.
Subscribe? Is that
sounds
what it is?
fancier.
Stitcher.
Ooh,
Stitcher.
yeah.
Oh, listen to Dolan now piping up over here. There's no beer left, Dolan. We're done for the
Too
day.
little, too late.
There we go. All right, Brian, Kristen, thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
We'll see you next week.